today's video we'll try to learn and master different grouping techniques with Databricks and pyspark. The agenda for the today's video is we'll try to learn basic groupby, then the grouping and multiple aggregates, learning how to use pivot, window functions, collect list and collect set. So in today's video we'll try to learn all this using a live data in Databricks. Okay, so for this video what I've done is I have already loaded a data set which is New York listings CSV. I'm using free community edition of Databricks. So this data set which is already loaded, it has multiple columns called ID, name, host ID, host name, the neighborhood group in New York City, neighborhood, the name of the neighborhood like Chelsea, Washington Heights, etc. Then we have room types, private room, entire home, and different type of room types. Then the price per room and what is the minimum stay of that particular room, and like this we have multiple columns in this data set. So before we perform any sort of aggregation, it's important we should check null for the columns where you are using the aggregation. So in this learning video we'll be using price column and neighborhood. So this is the code where I will try to check if there is any null values for price column. So I'm just running it and I see there are no null values, so which is great. So let's first try to go and understand through some categorical columns like neighborhood. What are the distinct values in neighborhood? So we are doing df.select the column name neighborhood .distinct.display. So .display will give you like a proper tabular format instead of show. So if you see, there are total 221 neighborhood values, okay, distinct values. Similarly, let's check for the neighborhood groups. So how many distinct values we have? Total 5 values. So I've selected df.select .neighborhood group .distinct.display. So this is the way we see Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island. Then there is one more column called license. So df.select.distinct.license. Okay, now if we want to identify multiple columns which are null, okay, so for that I've written a for loop. So it's very simple. So it's very important that we select pyspark.sql.functions. So all the aggregate functions or all the logical or boolean functions are with pyspark sql.functions. Okay, so as you saw at the start, I have imported import pyspark.sql.functions as F, capital F. That's an usual naming convention I always follow. Okay, so for k in df.columns, and then what I'll do is df.filter f.call is for referring to the column. So here I'm iterating through the column name. So f.call k dot is null is the inbuilt function. If is null is equal to true, okay, so dot count. Okay, so we'll try to print column name of the column and null count, and we'll simply print this and run this. So if you see for every column it is giving the count, and in my data set there are no nulls. So this is the way you can check if there are any null for any column in a pyspark data set. Okay, So let's simply, and if you want to say count number of NaN values in a numerical or float or double or any integer columns, then you can use f dot is nan, and then pass the name of the column, and then it give a count. So it will give the count for the in numerical columns. Okay, now the first learning is about understanding how we can perform multiple group columns group by. Why do we need a group by? We need a group by because uh, let's say if you want to perform certain aggregations, or if you want to combine some data which is based on another columns, like for example if you're looking for, like, say how many cities are there in Maharashtra, for example, or how many countries are there in the all over the world, or say what is the average and what are the total number of listings in the based on the neighborhood and the room type. Okay, and what is the average price per neighborhood and room type. So this is the way we can do is df dot group by the name of the columns which you want to perform the aggregation on. So I want to know what is the total number of listings based on neighborhood and room type, and what is the average price per neighborhood and room type. So df dot group by neighborhood, then room type dot agg is the aggregation we have to pass when you are passing multiple aggregations. Okay, so here, as I told you, f dot count, so that's the function dot count, then the star, that is total number of listings, and f dot avg, which is the average price, uh, uh, average price. Okay, so average price per neighborhood and room type. Let's run this. So if you see, for this neighborhood and room type, we have number of listings and average price per room type based on each neighborhood. This is the way you can do. So instead of say average, I want to use minimum function. What is the minimum price? So I can just simply just type minimum f dot min. So all the aggregation function is also inside f. So you see, it's let's rename it minimum price. Yeah, so minimum price is $26 per private room in neighborhood Bedford Stuyvesant. Okay, now let's go ahead. Another type of grouping is pivot means, say if every room type, you want to create every room type like private room, entire home, apartment, like a column, and on the left hand side there are the neighborhood, so it's like a pivot. So we'll see how it looks like. Let me run this and then you will be able to understand first, then we'll see what does pivot mean. So as I told you, right, for every for neighborhood, if we are running pivot, that means every value in that room type will create a column. It's like dummification. Okay, so you see, for a neighborhood, entire home has 70